The format of today's video is a bit different to what I normally do. While I was filming the wildlife, I was not able to do any talking to camera, and that's because I was in a public hide on a nature reserve and it was rather crowded, so you can't really start filming yourself. Now, this hide is 85 miles from my house, so 85 miles each way, and I went 4 times. The first time I went, I couldn't find it initially. It's not signposted at all until you're right on top of it. There was lots of road closures in the area. I kept hitting blocked roads, so I didn't get there till late morning. And when I got into the hide, it was pretty full. There's only 3 windows you can photograph out of. You can squeeze 4 photographers in there. 2 of them have got to share a window, but that's it. 4 is the maximum you can get in. And each window was fully occupied and there was people standing at the back. So I stood there and I watched for a couple of hours. I was interested to see what species were coming in. Were they close enough? Was it photogenic? And it was pretty impressive, but it was just too crowded. I decided I was going to come back the next day and get there a bit earlier. So I did. I was there for 9 o'clock, which is not as early as I intended to be there. But I got to the hide. I was a bit alarmed at first in the car park. There were so many cars parked there at 9 o'clock. But I got to the hide. I couldn't even open the door. There were so many people in. The door was being blocked. I managed to get my head in and have a look and thought, I don't want to go in there. That is such a crush of people all standing there shoulder to shoulder. I went away again. I thought I've got to get there even earlier. So the next day I was there at 6:45 in the morning. I got to the hide. There's already 4 photographers in place at the windows. I was the only person now at the back, so I'm sitting down at the back to watch. I got the impression these 4 photographers were there for the day because they got vacuum flasks and sandwiches. It doesn't look like they're going to move anytime soon. So I sat there for a while until the hide started to fill up with people again, and I went home. The 4th time I went, well, first of all, I had to come up with a different plan. This wasn't working. We'd been having a good spell of weather. So I waited until the weather forecast changed, and the forecast was for rain, miserable, dull day. I thought that would keep the crowds away. So I went. I got there for 6:30. There was 1 vacancy, 1 window still available. I got into there and I stayed there for 8 hours. It was a really good day. I photographed 20 species, close enough to be able to photograph, nice situation. I cannot think of another hide in the country that allows you to photograph 20 woodland type garden species in one day. And am I going to tell you where it is? Unfortunately not, no. You know, I don't like being secretive. I like people to enjoy our wildlife. The more people enjoy our wildlife, the better. But this hide is just so popular that it can't accommodate any more people. So I've decided that I shouldn't say where it is. It's just going to make it worse. And I want to go back. I want to go back towards the end of September, October to see if there's different species coming in, and some of the birds that are molting in August will be in better plumage. So I'm afraid I'm not going to say where it is. A lot of people are going to recognise it because obviously a lot of people have been to it.
We'll start off with a male blackcap. I cannot think of a warbler species that comes to drink and bathe at water more often than the blackcap, and it's a very confident bird too. It will push off much larger birds, even starlings. A rather tatty looking song thrush. This is the problem at this time of year. You're in August, lots of birds are molting, you've got young birds, they're not in great condition feather-wise. Now the log the bird is standing on, you will see a lot. This is the most popular place to stand and drink. In fact, there wasn't a lot of water in this pool, just small puddles. So the birds were limited as to where they could go. A spotted flycatcher. Now this is a rare bird in the UK today, and you don't see them bathing very often. This is very unusual. I can't remember whether I've seen it before. I've been doing it too long, I forget what I've seen and photographed. But it's certainly unusual. All the footage is taken with the 150 to 400mm OM lens. Sometimes I'm using the Lumix G9 Mark II and sometimes the OM1 Mark II. Can I tell the footage apart? No, I can't, and there's no EXIF data to look at. I'm only using the Lumix because it will autofocus in slow motion, which the OM1 won't. Another warbler trying to come in, and the black legs tell us this is a chiffchaff. The very similar willow warbler has brown legs. Not always easy to tell, depends on the light, but that is clearly a black leg. Willow warblers and chiffchaffs don't like to get really wet. Mostly they just splash in the water without going in deep. And how about this, a tree creeper? How often do you see these bathing? The wren, one of our smaller birds. And the wood pigeon, well, they are renowned for drinking. They come to water very frequently, and when they do, they gulp a lot of water down. The nuthatch. I like nuthatches, they've got a lot of character, but they're very aggressive birds. I think you'd have to call them bullies. When they come into a feeding station, they push everything else out of the way. And with that rather fierce, heavy looking bill, they punch a lot of weight. A grey squirrel. And a robin, and on the left hand side we have a female blackcap with a brown head. A blue tit, one of 4 species of tit that came in on the day. I did take a few stills pictures as well as video, but I'd got the idea in my head that I was going to come back later and do stills pictures. I've said many times I find it very hard to do both. I've got to concentrate on one or the other. A bullfinch just came into the background. Now this male bird looks a bit tatty. I'm sure in a few weeks he will look much smarter, and that's when I'd like to go back and have another go. But mostly with the bullfinches, it was juvenile birds coming in. They do go around in family groups. So you'll see several bullfinches moving through the hedgerows together, and they make a lovely plaintive whistle. The blackcap coming back for another bathe, and he won't be intimidated by that much larger bullfinch. And a blackbird. A male chaffinch, one of the UK's commonest birds. And the very tiny coltit. I tend to associate these with coniferous woodland rather than deciduous. This spring I spent quite a bit of time with a pair of coltits trying to get them singing on video, and I failed. I tried for several days. I'm always trying to add to my collection of singing birds on video. And this is my favourite garden bird, the dunnock or hedge sparrow. I think they're very cute, and I love the brown eye. If you see them really close up, it's a gorgeous eye. And a grey tit, a juvenile bird. And the UK's smallest bird, the goldcrest. Not very often you see these bathing. And a marsh tit. Now this is a species I did manage to get singing this year. I was in Serbia when I did it, but I got singing marsh tit. And this has got to be the bird of the day, the hawfinch. Always very popular with bird watchers. Everybody wants to see a hawfinch. And instead of straining to see one up against the skyline through the trees, you've got one coming down very close to you at the water's edge. Great viewing. Thanks for watching.